Welcome, my name is Colleen Tauke and I'm the sewing specialist at Bonds & Porter. In this video I want to show you the benefits of purchasing the double wedding ring template set. You can see here on the sewing center I have all of the array of fabrics it would take to create the quilt you see behind me. Many of us have that on our to-do list. Eventually I want to make a double wedding ring quilt. That's the dream of a lot of quilters. But when you look at all the fabrics and you think of all the cutting and having to make your own templates and then cut it all, we tend to put it on the list for later and later and later. So with this template set, you could get to the cutting quickly, accurately, and get right to the sewing. So let's take a look at the templates that we have here on the work surface. We have the large center that anchors all of those rings. So you have the large piece like this, and they are notched with markings so that you will know where each of the segments are placed, so the piecing is nice and easy. They are also marked with a grain line so that you can keep all of the grain line going in one direction within your piecing. Then we have a selection of smaller pieces over here to the side, A, B, C, and D. A are the pieces that are the stones that kind of go along each of the rings, the center four. On the outer edge, you'll find you'll be putting in piece B. It's shaped kind of at a curve, and I'll show you here in a minute how that works. Letter C is used, if you look at the quilt, as the rings intersect, you get kind of a stretched out diamond effect. That's where C comes into place. And then we have this football, kind of a flat pumpkin shape or pumpkin seed shape or football shape that goes in between arches. As you see the rings interlock, it's that little sliver of the background fabric that goes into finishing out the piecing. So let's look at the cutting real quick for one of our templates here. Now when you're cutting from yardage and you're doing these individual pieces, you're going to want to use, if you have handy, the smaller rotary blade. It will be of assistance when you're trying to get into the inner curves in those small areas. So it's a great tool to have in your supplies. A little bit smaller rotary blade. And I'm also using a rotating mat here so that I can be cutting from a safe direction at all times. Because this is a four-sided template, we want to be able to not shift it. We want to have that accuracy in play. So I'm cutting the small ends, and then as you can see the blade will go right up against the template, nice and neat there. And we can always cut then across the top. This is the time for your blade to be nice and sharp. Might be time for a replacement blade at home. We usually tend to put that off until we get to something like this, and then it's like, yep, it's time for a new blade. Rotate it around. And then come in and cut the last two sides. Now here I'm cutting two at a time. When you're just beginning, you may just want to cut one layer until you get confident that you can cut multiple layers. If your blade is nice and sharp, you might be able to do up to 4 layers at once. So that would be that center piece. Now let's look at the other smaller pieces that you're going to be cutting from all of those wonderful prints that you've created. Here we're showing the batiks like the one behind me, and it takes 26 different fabrics in half-yard cuts to make this. So you're going to have an array of fabrics to work with. The 4 pieces that are labeled letter A go into the arcs like this. And then as you get to the outer ends, you will have pieces that are shaped with a curve. So you'll have one like this, and it will call for a reverse. So it's B and B reversed, marked with a capital letter R, because the curve has to fit that arc. Little things that we pick up when we're working on these projects. Then you're going to be using letter C. Since I've cut a variety of them here, I'm going to try and scramble up my colors. The fun part of working with this quilt is you get to use the entire crayon box. Okay, now these are curved and kind of kite-shaped. They go out here into the outer corners, like that. And you start to see that curve. Follow your instructions for curve piecing, and if that's new to you, You can also visit our website, and in our video stockpile, we have what are called Sew Easies, and those are lessons that teach you techniques. So you can look for curve piecing in the Sew Easy techniques and learn more about how to